This is just a test, and thank you guys so much if you're out there and if you're around for this test. And I'll have just a few things that I'll be testing on this. Hi guys. This is not the most convenient test, but it is a test. So and it's audio mostly, but thanks guys. Hello, Philip J. Turner and AZ Infidel. Thanks so much for all that you do. Thanks so much. I'm going to do a couple more things here. Well, no, I went live earlier. Actually, we did. What did we do? Oh, I actually watched. We watched Rudy Giuliani along with Rudy Giuliani in Michigan at the Assembly House earlier. We did. So yeah, that's what I did. We did that one for a couple of hours. I do have a tracker to share, but I might hold on to that one until like maybe tomorrow or let's see, I have a tracker and then there's always, you know what, because you guys are here, I'm gonna put something on. So just hang tight and I'll play I'll play a video that I've been curious about. I think it's about 30 minutes. So if you guys want to tune in for that, we'll see how it goes. I'm doing some audio checks, so it won't hurt to play. But glad you guys are here. So Philip J. Turner says, "Oh, what I've heard it's really been you're a great storyteller, Philip J. Turner. So keep going." So I do have something to. I always have something to share, but I'll pick something right now. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to play this little clip again, and let's see. Hold on, just 1 second here. It's the Lockhart Perspective. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing a test slash whatever, and I may play a clip of something, like 20-minute clip of something, but I will be right back. Hold on just 1 second. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, entertainment, history, and much, much more, there's something for everyone. So please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Joseph Francis Burton, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back to the news right after this. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to drop this link out here because we're just kind of winging it right now. And actually, I have something from Project Veritas instead. I'm going to share. I've got about, I think I may have like 3 bites from Project Veritas. So I'm going to put this link out here, and you guys can come on in. So yeah, I'm going to plug. It's from James O'Keefe. So it's actually kind of interesting. It's more. I think it's a little more than interesting. So I'm going to put it on here, but it's more. It's I think it's pretty good. So this is coming from our friends at the JBS. So with that said, we'll have a word for our friends at the JBS, and then we'll get started with what's happening here. Hope you guys are doing well. I am very much winging it right now, and I don't know. Sometimes I do my best. I have my best conversations or discourse when I'm just winging it. So hang tight just one second. We'll have word from our friends at the JBS, and then we'll go over to the expose from Project Veritas. This segment of our show is brought to you by our good friends at the John Birch Society. Less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. The JBS is a constitutional and educational organization that's been around for over 60 years, dedicated to upholding and defending the Constitution and working to preserve our freedoms and liberties in this country. The JBS does not endorse any political party or candidates. Rather, it focuses on the education, training, and development of the American voters. All right, guys, I thank you so much. So what we're going to have is it's kind of a sweet deal here. I think you might find it sweet. So what you might see before you is Project Veritas recordings. CNN takes direction from left. Zucker orders network to, quote, go after, end quote, GOP's Graham. Carlson is, quote, racist, end quote. So we're going to go into that. I thank you guys so much for tuning in at the 11th hour here with me on a test. So with that said, I think I put that link out there. So, oh, look who's here. It's the Lockhart Perspective. How are you doing?
Hey, sis, how are you?
I'm hanging around like a coat in the closet.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm not quite together, but I'm a little disheveled. But hey, worst case, I'll put my hat on.
I know that's right.
But you know what? I've got this little Project Veritas thing. I was saying, you know what? I'm doing a sound test, so why not play some videos or whatever? Do some more sound tests.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
So how's your
Oh, it's going good. It was good. I mean, we were out of town, and so that was nice, except I got attacked by some of the thought police with the whole "why aren't I wearing a mask"
Are
thing.
you
And so
okay?
no, are they okay? No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But yeah, so what I was doing right now when I saw you come on live, I was actually rewatching 1984, and I'm glad I did because yikes, we missed a lot. We missed a lot. But anyway,
Does that sound like do
how
we
are
need an
you?
encore? Do we need an
Yes,
encore?
yes. We are going to need an encore. So, how was your Thanksgiving and your weekend? And did you get a lot
Gosh.
of turkey?
Well, no, we actually ended up getting Indian food, and they had some dishes that I had never had before. I mean, I have a friend and a friend back east that she's Indian, and her husband, they're both Indian, and they cook like from scratch. And so when I get something, I know good Indian food when I
You
I'll
got
be
a
honest.
high bar. The bar is set high.
Well, but to be honest, I don't think I've ever had. I think the only way to do bad Indian food is if it's not hot. If it's cold Indian food, what are you doing?
Yeah, tisk, tisk, tisk.
Yeah, so but yeah, it was okay. We had some not so good news in the family, but I think we'll it yeah, I don't sometimes I don't know what to think anymore. Lockhart
Oh,
perspective,
sorry.
I don't know, but it's been a little bit wonky, but we're back at it again, and I don't know. We were watching, like I was telling somebody at AC and Fidel that we were watching one of those assembly meetings in Michigan with actual people coming forward giving testimony. Little social justice activists right it's on the assembly going after people and
That was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing.
I'm like, can you guys control yourselves?
I
What
don't
are
think
you
they
doing?
can. I don't think so. I don't know. It's been so many things happening in the past couple of days. It's almost like you don't want to. I've got like a total of about 6 stories that are not complete because something else happens, and then I gotta stop doing that one and run and just at least grab the story before somebody takes it down. So it's like I've got all these
Right,
bodies, like a bunch of bodies, like
right,
a bunch
right,
of
right, right.
bones in the graveyard. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff happening right now, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. I know this is your test, and you and I could easily end up
Oh,
doing a whole
oh,
show.
I mean, whatever you want to do. I'll be honest. I haven't seen these clips. So it's James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. I've got about three of them. So if you want to dig into this with
Yeah,
me,
yeah, let's do it. I've seen
yeah.
a couple on Twitter, but not really at length. I saw the
Okay.
CNN one. That was a bit
Okay.
unique. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
down
that's
for it.
okay.
I'm
All right.
down.
All right. So let's rock. Right on, AZ. This is true. This is true. Okay, so we're gonna bring it up. Oops, I think I just ditched us both. See, you're better at double fisting the situation than I am. So we're gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just give everybody a little bit of the little landscape here. So what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is from our friends at the JBS, and this is entitled. Oh, stop, stop, stop. This I don't like the response on here. Okay, so Project Veritas recording. This is the CNN takes direction from left. Zucker orders network to quote go after end quote GOP's Graham. Carlson is a quote racist end quote. So this is by our court Kirkwood, and we'll go ahead and hit the button. Is that where it is? Or am I in the wrong place? So this is why this is a test, ladies and gentlemen. It's not live. See, it looks like it's doing okay. Maybe that's just a little okay. So we'll go ahead and read this. I don't think that was active. I think that's just a little picture there. So, quote, the most trusted name in news, end quote, just got some bad news. And this time it wasn't about a top talking head who was caught doing you know what during a Zoom call. Last night, CNN learned that Project Veritas, the conservative, quote, guerrilla journalism end quote outfit has been listening to the morning conference call among CNN's top left-wing reporters and producers and hate Trump chieftain Jeff Zucker. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Aside from explaining how CNN must spin its coverage, the tapes also reveal that Zucker ordered his subalterns to quote go after end quote GOP Senator Lindsey Graham and a top CNN exec called Fox's Tucker Carlson, quote, a racist, end quote, and accused him of pushing, quote, white supremacy, end quote. CNN's response, PV might have committed a, quote, felony, end quote. Hey, Jeff, We've been listening. Zucker got the bad news when O'Keefe interrupted the call and informed him that PV, that's Project Veritas, had been listening to and recording CNN's morning meetings. Quote, "Hey, Zuckerberg, you there?" End quote, O'Keefe asked. Quote, "We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute." End quote. All right. So it says, "Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news?" End quote. O'Keefe asked the network's openly hate Trump chieftain, quote, "Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on the phone, on these phone calls, I don't know about that. We've got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist," end quote. So I'm going to play this one that comes from James O'Keefe himself. And it says at Project Veritas live streams President Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial phone call with at CNN senior leadership, hashtag expose CNN. So we'll see if I get yanked on this one. Is everybody ready? Are you guys sitting down? Lockhart
I'm sitting
perspective.
down. I'm sitting down. I'm rich.
Okay,
I'm rich.
we're going to hit the button.
Push the button.
Tweet, 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 tweet. Come on, you can do it. Uh-oh.
Felicia, this seems like something I would do. I don't hear nothing.
Oh, no. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay.
It sounds like when I be jacking stuff up. I be jacking stuff
Hang
up.
on a second. See, that's exactly why this is a test. Hold on.
This is a test.
This
This
is
is
a test.
only a test.
Yeah, everybody I don't know. I don't have that little frosty screen that starts flying. So let me see. I don't know here. I guess I have to just share the actual share the right audio here. Well, that'll help things, right? Funny. This is why we do
Yes,
these
you
things.
got
This
it.
is this is family. We're
That's
with
right.
family, right? We're
We
family.
work best. We work the kinks out this way. It's
All right, so
okay. You're be okay.
here we go.
You're unmuted. Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey,
Yes.
this is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system, and we'll be back with you. We'll do the rest of the call a little bit later.
We're going to release those recordings today at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
So you just heard me talk to the president of CNN, Jeff Zucker, and inform him that we are going to release a number of recordings today. I unmuted myself into the conference line, and they're still on there. They're listening to me right now. This is being live streamed for those of you still on the call. And we've recorded for a while, and we have clips of various producers talking, the president talking, describing their motives, describing their political philosophy, describing how they don't cover certain things and certain political parties tell them to cover things a certain way. Lots of little clips that takes us into the minds and hearts of our people, powers that be, that inform us, because government is downstream from media. So we're going to be releasing these tapes thanks to one of our sources, one of our brave insiders has given us this information. And as you can see, they're still milling about on the call. They're listening to me right now. They have to, quote, change their system and get a different dial-in, I guess, now because we've compromised dial-in. Project
Well, I guess we
Veritas.
need to change the channel, huh? Change the number, huh?
Is that Zucker there?
Star 6 again.
You're unmuted.
Hey, Jeff, you still there?
Yeah.
They're still on there. Yeah,
You're
so
muted.
we don't want to change the channel, really. We want to stay on the channel. We think it's important for the American people to know how you make the sausage, right? How you, to quote Noam Chomsky, manufacture consent. You know, consent should not be manufactured. It should be informed. People should be an informed populace to make informed decisions. So there you have it, folks. Live streaming the CNN 9 a.m. conference call. It was abruptly ended when James
Thanks
O'Keefe.
for using the
Here it
AT&T
is.
teleconferencing service.
AT&T, isn't that the company that Zucker is being fired from?
Mhm.
Yeah. So they abruptly ended the conference call when I dialed in, and unfortunately for them, we've been recording for a while. So what else can I say? There's not much else to say. I think my message to you for those watching the live stream is get ready, because tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to start releasing these little tapes, little clips, little audio bits of Zucker, the president, who also Chalian, David Chalian, vice president,
Stephanie Becker.
Stephanie Becker, what's the name? Marcus Mabry. Who's the other man that made the comments about that we recorded about white supremacy?
That was Mez Mabry.
Marcus Mabry made some comments, and you know, we'll be airing those for all to hear and see. And it's important that we hold accountable the mainstream media. The media has to be held to account. They are hurting the American people with their lies, their innuendo, their slander, their defamation, their hyperbole. And I think Mr. Zucker is shaking in his boots right now. I think he's very afraid of what might be coming. So I don't really know what else to say, guys. I mean, content is king. And we were trying to live stream the beginning of the call, but we didn't know when Zucker was going to come in and interject and ask the question. So we just sort of got there. We sort of got in just in the time. What else?
More insiders.
Yeah, more insiders.
More insiders. Thank you to the brave insider who supplied us the information for the call. VeritasTips@protonmail.com. Stay tuned. What's the hashtag?
CNN tapes.
Stay tuned. Hashtag CNN tapes. Released today. Multiple installments every day, each day this week. It's going to be great. This is going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing for our republic and for our democracy to have the media being held accountable. We need to hold the media to account. Stay tuned. Hashtag CNN tapes tonight, 7 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Is everybody still around? I've got more. I've got the first installment coming right up. If you guys are ready, would you like to go from that point, Felicia? Would you like to
Well,
talk about him being caught with his hand in the bowl?
Well, I appreciate him for being so bold as to, first of all, copy this stuff for the past 2 months without, throwing up his insides, or giving up his lunch, because I'm sure it was disgusting. But on a more physical, scary thing, being concerned for his. I just have 2 words: Jimmy Hoffa. He really needs to be careful.
Okay.
And that's, there are so many guys that are, that were like him that, for whatever reason in the season, they led the charge. And I think it's great that he's leading this charge. I have been praying for him and his safety. And I pray that, nothing happens to him. Because it's a really dirty cesspool that he has, gotten himself involved in. And I'm so happy that he had the presence of mind to have an insider share this information and bring it back to him and allow him to listen for 2 months. But you know, I'm just gonna say this. I feel like a lot of times that when people get up this high and they have this much access to information and people who can get them information, it really becomes a matter of them trying to outdo themselves the next time. And so when that happens, it's like, now what are you willing to give up for this? Because unfortunately, there are a lot of great people, and I'm glad they stood up. I'm not saying I don't think they should stand up. What I'm saying is right now we're dealing with so many people who just don't seem to give a rip. You know, it's like they're so anesthetized to what's going on that you can have a great guy like this give up the truth, and then they're sort of like going on about their business. You know, it's like, oh, he's gone. That's terrible. What's for lunch? So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for more, but that's the only two words that I had was Jimmy Hoffa. That's it. There's two words that came to mind. Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of taken on some kind of a, I don't know, this might be a little bit too Hollywood or whatever, but it's almost like a little bit of Indiana Jones in the temple or the snake pit. You know, he goes down and he
Yes.
gets
Yes.
rescues the stones and, you know, he
Yes.
restores the human spirit. We're ready.
Yes. If not, but temporarily, it's been restored.
Right. And with that
Hey,
said,
Positively Penny. Positively Penny is here. Hey. Yeah. So.
Hi, Positively Penny, and hello to Information Man Show. Thank you guys so much for coming in. So what we'll do is we'll hop on over to the we've got two clips from the conversation coming right up. Thanks so much, guys. And for those of you who are not familiar, this is the Lockhart Perspective joining me tonight on this test.
Yes, we are testing 1, 2, and 3 on the on the ones and twos, whatever. It's late.
Yes, and I, you know, with the Lockhart Perspective, we will not have dead air. We will not. Between the
I
two
hope
of
we
us.
don't. Between the two of us, I think we'll have it pretty much unlocked up. But I'm excited. Show me some more. Now, this one I saw, but I can't wait to see it again.
Okay. All right, because I got one more for you after this one. Okay, so here we go. This is Jeff Zucker before you, so we're gonna blow this one up.
Jeff Zucker, president of CNN, explains to his editorial team on the 9 a.m. call that we recorded that they should, quote, lean in to not normalizing Trump's erratic behavior. Listen to this.
Okay, I just want to reemphasize that, I think we cannot normalize what has happened here in the last week with Trump and his behavior. And I go back to what David Chalian said, that this is a president who knows he's losing, who knows he's in trouble, is sick, maybe is on the after effects of steroids or not, I don't know, but he is acting erratically and desperately, and we need to not normalize that. You know, this is what we've come to expect for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, but it clearly is exacerbated by the time that we're in and the issues that he's dealing with. And I think that we cannot just let it be normalized. He is all over the place and acting erratically, and I think we need to lean into that.
The Trump media, flews immediately from, okay, well, never mind that unmasking was, found to be completely nonsensical, to the latest alleged scandal, and expects everybody to just follow suit. So I don't think that we should be repeating unsubstantiated smears just because the right-wing media suggests that we should. Frankly, if we've made any mistake, it's that our banners have been too polite, and we need to go well after Lindsey Graham. There's a ton going on. Let's stay strong. Let's stay newsy. Let's stay urgent. Let's be smart. There is a lot of news out there, and Lindsey Graham really deserves it. Each of these so-called scandals for Trump, each of these things, we should just once again be careful to say that this is the one that is going to undo him with his voters. And to respond to David Chalian's points about politics, I don't know why we would expect any of these politicians to have a conscience and or expect that politics wouldn't be completely hypocritical. And for us to expect anything else would be naive.
Oy. Wow. 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 Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it out of the horse's mouth. Oh, that was his mouth.
What do you think? That was pretty intense, the entire the tone of it all. And yeah, it's like the propaganda ministry or something like you gotta.
Yeah. I mean, you just gotta love technology, right? I mean, you just gotta love it. I mean, but for technology, we would still be in the dark on this thing here. I don't know, Black Spring. I feel like, let me tell you, I may have mentioned this a week ago while we were chatting on the phone, or either I was telling it to Kim. It was either you or Kim, because there's only three of you I talk to on a normal basis. It's you, Kim, and Demita. No, it wasn't Demita because she's been busy. But with that said, I feel like Newsmax came up. It was already out, but it's come up really, really high right now because they needed to replace a failing CNN. And a failing CNN that used to be really, back in the day, a well-trusted media source many years ago. Like Larry King, pre-Larry King days, right?
Okay.
So at that particular time, they were, pretty okay, not awesome, because they were doing the whole faking the Iran war, Iraq war thing and all that too. But prior to that, they were okay, quasi okay. With that said, I believe that because their numbers are failing, because they are losing revenue hand over fist, and they are releasing employees, firing, furloughing, as well as laying off employees, it's an indication that this particular news arm is failing. And so what I have thought to myself was, now that Fox has shown who they really are, and that is because the owner of Fox is who he is, they are really, or the CEO at this time, they're really about to take CNN's old position. And so they are now going to be the old CNN. CNN is going to be moved away, and now Newsmax is going to be the new Fox. With that said, what we're looking at is just the changing of the guard. Now, how much of this is intentional? Because we have the whole, propaganda of the US, we don't know. We really don't know how much of this is real, and we don't know how much of this is convenient, right? I mean, if it were a convenient accident, then we'd be like, oh my, gasps. But there's nothing that's going to happen after this to me, except for the fact that we're going to see CNN move out of the way. Fox is going to take their place, and then Newsmax is going to take Fox, and then we're going to get mad in another 5 or 10 years at all of them. At Newsmax, it'll be Newsmax. So that's what I think.
If I'm from what I'm gleaning from you a little bit, just a little, is it maybe perhaps that the news is that even they are on a cycle, their industry, their competitive edges come in maybe some kind of a cycle every so many years?
Absolutely, it does. Yes, I think that's it. I couldn't have said it any better. What your summation is exactly that. And I also believe that when you're looking at the fact that there's only a handful of fellas who own media, these guys sit around, smoke stogies, drink old scotch, They golf together. They go to the, to the country clubs together. These old guys, they know each other. It reminds me of when I was a high up executive with a construction company. I was the CEO's executive assistant. So I sat in the meetings that no chicks sat in. And these guys they're rich as all get out, but they all know each other. Every one of them know each other. They know whose project is what. They know, the guy who did they know everything. These guys all know one another. And I just feel like it's just another piece of the propaganda machine. And I'm glad that he did it, but I feel like, I don't know, something's a little shady. I'm glad he did it, but something's a little shady. CNN's already on the way out. It just feels like Project Veritas is helping him out the door.
Yeah. Well, I can appreciate his. I certainly can appreciate James O'Keefe and his the courage that he has. And it used to be, but the thing about this O'Keefe, I think he's establishing himself with these kinds of, I think people used to I think this is the kind of journalism on some level that maybe we expected, that like from 20 years ago, where people would go, you remember like some of the lines of journalists even going undercover to get a story. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing that I remembered. You risk your safety. You get out there in front of that fire and try to cover, that guy the fireman rescuing, the child or something, and you're right there, and they're actually literally trying to push you out of the way because you're trying to cover the story while they're trying to. So, but that narrative is kind of gone. It's just, yeah.
I mean, now these cats are getting paid, $1 million a month, some of them. And so when you consider how much, a Lemon or any of these individuals are getting paid, you have to sort of know that their bread is being buttered by some people who are pretty well off, and they can see the sinking ship. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The guys who are paying these cats $1 million a month and $1.5 million a month, and this is no joke, this is what they're making. You have to know that they sit around and they'll say, well, okay, we'll go ahead and bow out gracefully. Besides, we just bought into X, Y, or Z company, and we're good. You guys go ahead and take our spot. Maybe they've even paid them to take the spot. But I guarantee you, CNN's not going to be around much longer. And even if they are, here's what they'll be. They'll be a template. Now, yes, what you're saying is absolutely right. They did used to, get themselves really in dangerous situations. But long gone are the days of those real journalists, long gone are those guys. Long gone are those guys. Melinda Ann, hi, how are you? So good to see you tonight. So I just really feel like they are not the cats they used to be. And so with that said, I am glad to see what he's doing. But me right now, I'm just so jaded by everything media that I'm sort of side-eyeing the convenience of it all. I'm just sort of side-eyeing, the convenience and the timing. I'm looking at the timing, like with the whole Barr thing. And, I would have loved to hear him do a whole long not spoof, but a whole long thing on what we know and what some of us in the underground media have access, or who, what we've watched from the Biden camp. I mean, the things that some of us know, but we dare not say. I haven't heard anybody like him get a hold of that and really ride it out. You know what I mean? Like 2 to 3 months and say, okay, folks, here you go. That would impress me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I would say yes. He's passing up a lot of.
This is
auspicious. This is an auspicious time. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
this
you
is
need to pick up
fruit.
like not quite, not CNN. I think you could probably even catch them going into work or something.
You know what I'm saying? We could make a mistake, go to Atlanta, make a mistake, and end up in the break room and get a snoot full. I mean, I'm glad, but I'm not, but for those people who have been really waiting with bated breath to find this type of dirt out on them, I am happy. But again, with us being in the underground media and we have access to a lot of stuff, you and I included, we ain't giving none of it up because, well, we like our families. We like family time. Okay, we love
That's
family
true.
time.
That's very
And
true.
yeah, we like cars that don't go boom in the night. So with us, we're not saying anything, but I'm just saying, if you want to impress me, you need to get a hold of the real deal, Holyfield, and just let it all out. Because there's no way that regular folk could get that type of heavyweight information, and a guy like him could not. So to me, CNN, low hanging fruit, they're on their way out. But I know you got some more for us. I know you
Yes,
got
I
some
just have
more.
at least one more on that one. And it never occurred to me, and I'm glad you brought that up. Like, why CNN of all places? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
For all we know, he thinks he's got a leg in, and they probably set him up to get in there.
who
So
knows? Maybe
they,
they're working together, they gotta work. You
well,
gotta
no, I don't. I would hope not. Now that I don't think. I think that he really feels like what he should be doing is scratching his head saying, wait a minute, how did I get somebody inside of CNN? And how was it and how were they just so conveniently available for me to monitor for the past 2 months without the person that's looking at the screen? Or because whenever I do a call, I can see, the phone numbers, I can see the calls, I can see who's in there, and generally after you've done a few calls with your staff for X amount of time, you know all the numbers. And so sometimes I would ask, hey, who's calling from a, 256 number, or from a 562 number? Who's calling from that number? I don't recognize it. And it'll be somebody else. Oh, it's me. I'm with my family. We're in thus and such. And I'm like, okay, cool. So for me, it's like, wait a minute, dude, that was just so convenient. And he should have wondered, how did I get this insider to let me call in for 2 months straight? Again, low hanging fruit, a lot of stuff with the Bidens that are going on, a whole lot of stuff with the Bidens. I mean, there are some pretty damaging things about his son that is really, really insane. I mean, insane that they also have implicated him too. So I'm wondering, hey, come on, get down with it, get down.
Right. Well, we've got some comments coming in right now. Let's see. Maybe we'll take one and then we'll go to Act 2.
Okay. Dun dun dun.
Okay, we have we'll take one comment. It's from Ted. Hi Ted, thanks for coming in. And this is Felicia Lockhart from the
Hey,
Lockhart
Ted.
perspective that I
Hey,
have here.
Ted.
And Ted says, my 2 cents is no one should be surprised. All cable news is commentary / opinion. All right. Okay. We'll go. We'll put that in a holding pattern.
I like it.
Thanks, Ted. Okay, so we're gonna go to take 2. Thanks so much, guys, for coming in and taking care with the Channelytics, and we'll take 2 right now.
Yep.
On the 9 a.m. conference calls every morning at CNN, their top leadership views their competition, Fox News and Tucker Carlson in particular, as racist and misinformed. Roll the tape.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're going to talk about the story, I think it's unavoidable that you have to talk about the naked racism of Tucker Carlson, because that's really what drove this anti-diversity push. Trump watches Tucker Carlson show and then reacts. And just as sort of the white supremacy hour they have on Fox News every night, I think you can't disconnect the two.
What Donald Trump did last night, for anybody who watches Fox News, he was just airing all of the grievances he hears on Fox News every night. And that's all he did.
Okay. A little bit brief. little bit brief on that. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's been in the news lately. A lot of, can I say dissenters or, I don't know, the conservatives weren't too happy with Tucker Carlson, at least about a week ago. And I don't know.
What do you mean with the red cabal bracelet?
Well, it was his commentary on, his comments on Sidney Powell and her not.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, I mean, of course this is not a direct correlation, but of course this whole white supremacy thing, I'm not sure if I would call Tucker Carlson a racist. I wouldn't. But that's what that seems to be what they do. They've got a few words that they kind of just cycle around. They rinse and repeat the same kinds of themes on CNN. What do you think?
I agree. I think that they do. And I believe that it's because they've seen it work. It has worked. And so they'll continue to use phrases and statements and things that work. And we talked about this a while ago, that anytime you can incite the emotions of man, you'll always have a following. Unless, of course, you're on one of our channels, because we don't play that. But I think that a lot of them do. I think I'm more hard on our people than I am on anybody else. I mean, if you look at my channel, you'll see that, right? I mean, I get at it. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, what's really wrong? And that's because I love us, because I want us to get it. And I don't want us to get, drowned out in this crap with the whole white supremacy thing. Now, that's not to say that there are not people out here who are racist. But then what I believe is it's not necessarily racist. I believe that it's just prejudice, because racism, we're all of the same race. So to me, that's sort of like a oxymoron. We're all the same race. We're the human race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you're just a prejudiced person. And I think prejudice goes across the board. And so I believe that with them attempting to use that, it's worked before. And because it's worked before, they are not going to change it. And so when you think of that, Melinda says Tucker hasn't showed up with a black eye yet. That's right. Not yet. Not yet. But, again, you can never, now that my eyes have been the way that they are over the past several years, I've just gotten to the fact that, especially I have to always say this, when I was in the music industry, when I was recording faithfully, when I was working with a lot of big people, I got to see a lot of stuff. And what ends up happening is you then begin to realize that these folks got this big because of a compromise somewhere. And I know that, no, he hasn't had the black eye that we can tell. He could have took the weekend off. I don't know. But you have to wonder how a person can get to that level without having any, compromise in their life. And it shows how easily all of these people were able to turn from the election. Like, if you remember the election night, Fox was able to just turn on a dime. I was like, who are they? What is this? I was like, wait, I had to double check to see if maybe somebody left and went to go work at CNN, and maybe I panned over there thinking that it was them again. But I think that everybody has a price in that industry, and none of them are without questioning. You have to question all of them. I liked Tucker for many years, but I'm going to tell you something. A few months ago, I happened to pan over there, and I noticed that his facial feature, and you know how I am about faces. I'm always like, look, I've been doing hair and makeup for years, and I know a person's face. I saw his face, and I was like, yikes, he sort of changed. Now, I'm not saying that ain't Tucker. What I'm saying is, homeboy changed. You take that and put it in your peace pipe and smoke it, do whatever you want to do with it. But I think that a lot of these folks will find there's some things that are going on, and I know that once you start engaging in other lifestyles, not saying that he's doing anything alternative. But once you start to go into different paths with different spirits that are leading it, it begins to give you a different look. And he began to look a little different to me. What I did do was I personally prayed for Hannity about 2 weeks ago because he seems to be so uncomfortable in that arena now. I don't see him being there much longer, and I haven't watched any of the news. He could be gone right now. But I just feel like with Hannity, I think because he's come up the rough side of the mountain, he still has a lot of his real man street sense to him, because he was the kind of cat that just held down a regular job. It wasn't like, Anderson Cooper, where you just, say, oh, I'm a Vanderbilt. Oh, here you go. Here's a CIA badge. Oh, what's good you want to go do? So keeping all that in mind, I don't know. I don't know. I loved Tucker Carlson, but now the best thing worth praying for and saving to me right now is Hannity. And I've been praying that the Lord will move him when he has some place that he can go sit and stay. So I believe that he'll be moved. I believe that God will move him. And I believe that when that happens, he's actually going to have the opportunity to sit a spell. And it'll be his option to sit and stay, or he'll be able to move on. But I want him to make a really good move because I think he's a good cat. I really do. I think he's a really good guy. And I don't think he's as easily manipulated as some of the others. But I do see he's had a little stress lately in his face. He's been biting the edges of his eyeglasses.
Okay.
And so that's not cool. That's not cool. But yeah, I think the racism piece is just an easy thing for them to use. Racism, sexism, ageism, all of the isms. It's easy. It's easy.
Yes, it's been, and and I've said this. I've said this earlier in the week that I noticed that I think with everything that's going on between the election fraud investigations and the hearings and I think people are I don't know, I want to say maybe some conservatives, maybe some, I don't know, people that refer to themselves as Republicans or whatever. They are kind of, they're kind of starting to kind of gnaw at each other. Like, you guys are cannibalizing each other, or, or the market, even some of the alternative news, maybe they've turned a little bit shilly in their tone. It's a shilly market out there right now. I think people are nervous, even those that are the evangelicals that are really, rooted. I think those are the people that are most unshaken and unstirred. If I can, that's probably blasphemous to put those two things together like that. But I'm saying they're not shaken and they're not rattled by what's going on. They know where they rank in the scheme of things, no matter how it goes. Would that be fair?
Yes and no, because I think that there's a lot of evangelicals that may be listening to us right now that know a few shilly.
What's your forecast? The Lockhart perspective, 100% chilly.
Okay, here's okay. I'm gonna be like Paul. I gotta always say that not Paul. I believe that I not God. That's what Paul said. I not the Father. I just think that it's gonna be okay. Isn't it funny how when they thought they elected Biden in, that all of the rioting stopped? At least the major riots stopped.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yes. Do you want me to turn? Do you want to preach? And I say, come on.
What I think is going to happen is it's really hard right now because there's so much stuff that's happening. I mean, you've got Flynn, which is one of the stories that I have that have to be. Remember, I said I had about 6 stories that I have to put out.
We're all waiting.
I'm dealing with, I have, Flynn's situation where he's basically saying, in so many uncertain terms, he's quoting somebody else as saying, hey, the way to get out of this is for him to declare martial law, and then we can do an election all over again. and they're, you know, pretty much doing a reboot of what Lincoln did. Is what they wanted, what they're considering, what you know, Flynn even came up and said just recently, what this would be the way to make sure that is a free, a fair, a non-tampered with paper ballot. Everybody go in, show your ID, you vote, then you put it away, and then we count, and then we go on. And then, you know, so I think, yes, if that happens, then we could see him as being the president again. And then I believe that if that does not happen, listen, I have seen, I'm not sure if you know, but I'm sure you probably do. One of the reports that I have is dealing specifically with how many people from the Obama administration that Biden has laced his whole cabinet with. Okay, it's like, hey y'all, it's like, hey y'all, we getting the band back together. Y'all want to come on? Well, the band is back together. I think I could still fit my suit. I think I could still fit my dress from 1972. And they all sort of running back out. So I think that if it's him, they're going to kick in 25. And if they don't do the 25th Amendment, then they probably won't even let him get into the White House. They'll probably go on ahead, have a special thing, put somebody else in place, which they have the total right to do, put somebody else in place and then run with it. Neither of these two people, if Trump does not get reelected, neither of these two people have to be the people. I don't think people realize that. Neither of these two people have to be the people. They don't have to be the vice president and the president. I don't think everybody understands that. And so, you know, even prior to them getting in, that party could decide, oh, you know, no, we're going to do something else. We're going a different way. With that said, I believe that we really do have to keep our eyes on what's really going on, because there's so much on the table right now. It's like a piled Thanksgiving table. It's like huge with all this stuff on it. And, you know, you could easily miss Aunt Mabel's pudding easily on this table. No matter if it's a hit or not, you could easily miss Aunt Mabel's pudding on the table. So much stuff. So I don't know, you guys. I don't really want to say what I've been saying in my house, because I think people are going to be like, she's tripping. She's tripping. No, I really think that this, hey, I don't want to say it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write it and put it in the envelope, Black Spring. I'm going to give it to you. And I know that when I give it to you, you're not going to open it until after this whole thing is done. How about that?
You have
I'm going to do that. Yes. And then you open it, and then will read it live.
Yes, that's a good move. That's definitely a good move. Yeah, well, there is a lot, and you know, and you know, of course, we've kind of dealt with a little bit of the global elites this week, and but as you said, as the band is getting back together, and the Biden administration, we have John Kerry is the climate czar. He's the climate czar.
Oh, girl, who do you think that was? Who do you think that was that just went out to Antarctica? There was a flight. I'm not sure if you saw that, but there was a flight that nobody knows who was on the flight that went into Antarctica. And if you remember, right after the 2016 election, he went then. Kerry went to Antarctica.
No way.
Right around election time, 2016, Kerry was there. And then just recently, they said that there was a flight that had gone in. They had the picture of the plane and everything, and they said they don't know who it was, but whomever it was went specifically there to Antarctica, and nobody knows who it is. I started doing the math, and I was talking to my brother Lee. I was like, Lee, do you think it was that cat again? I mean, what is he doing? Because you know, there's some pretty unique situations going on there, so much so you and I could never just say, hey girl, let's just go get a ticket and go to Antarctica. You know, we'd have to get permission. We'd have to give the Pope, everybody had to give us permission. But nonetheless, Yeah, it's the boys are back in town. It's like everybody is all
We're back in
together again.
town.
Yeah, hit it, girl. Yes,
See,
yes,
but
that's
you
what
know
it is.
we're having too much fun on here when I start trying to sing along with the Lockhart perspective. She's the vocalist, not me.
Not right now. I'm tired, so no, I'm not. But I don't know. I just think that there are so many irons that are in the fire right now for the American people, and for the world at large. I think there's so much going on that it's really hard for us to decide or for us to ascertain which direction it could go. And I think that's the way they want it. Um, we have the 15th of December is when they've just decided, okay, yeah, well, we can start rolling this, candy bar, which is what we call the
Ooh.
uh yeah, which is what they call the Steely Dan Hey 19 song. Steely Dan's, you guys know Hey 19. We try to talk in code. We say candy bar on my channel, but now we're gonna
We call
call it
we
we're
call it
gonna
the
call it
mocktail.
okay, the
Well,
mocktail. Okay,
the
so
mocktail, or
okay,
either what I something that I call two truths and a lie.
okay, two truths and a lie. We're gonna call it that. Yeah, you remember that, Melinda? He did. And then just recently somebody else went. So yeah, but we don't know who it is, but I'm almost sure it's him. But yeah, I think that it's the whole, two truths and a lie, Steely Dan's Hey 19 deal. And that is what they said that they're about ready to roll out as of the 15th. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a very late news release. They did it, pretty late in the evening as it relates to the time that you give out news. But in any case, yeah, they were saying pretty much, oh, well, it's all set. This could go by the 15th of December. And I'm like, these people are really, really ready. So now let's unpack if we were to do the whole, if we were to take what John Kerry, but not John Kerry, we're all on the devil, aren't we? Flynn was recommending. If we were to do that, that can open a Pandora's box. That's like a door that we really don't want to open. We don't want to open having any form of martial law. But to his point, if you juxtapose the current situation on what happened when Lincoln did what he did, it was either the whole Civil War thing, or it was either, let's go on ahead and let me do this and just squash it all. And I can't see us engaging in a civil war until we saw major unfairness. We're just not that place anymore. I think if we saw a boatload of public unfair behavior from the powers that be, then there's a great opportunity that in certain states or cities there would be some rebellion. But I don't think that we are going to just all of us together just decide to turn the apple carts over. So with that said, by considering the act of martial law, there would be so many other evil, corrupt entities that would slide in under that umbrella or under that radar, and it would cause a lot of mayhem because, as you know, a lot of stuff gets suspended during that time, and that would just be a mess. So I don't know. What do you think about that? You're muted.
There I go. After late nights on Black Spring.
Yes.
I do think that he's gonna have it's a tough call, because I think, what was it, Linwood that called? I think maybe called for the same thing, that the country was on the verge of a CW. I think you're right. I think that he has to be cautious, because I do think whatever he does is going to set precedents, going forward. And whatever you unleash, it's going to come back, in somebody else's hands. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? I do think we're at a very I think we're at a huge precipice right now, and I think I honestly think that we could go. I think either way. I think if something I think people we the people are very very much frustrated and very tired of what's. I think people are tired of talking. I think people are tired of talking.
I
And
agree.
and in fact, I've been in enough chat rooms and seen enough hearings that I think people are ready to. I think people are ready. Some people are vocal about being ready to take it to the next level, whatever that means. But in fact, that's kind of that was the terminology that they use, the phrase that they use. Take it to the next level, because I think the people are talked out. You know, and what is it the mocktails or the two truths and a lie, and where are we? I said this myself. I don't think we're going to get out of this via the ballot box. And look where we are now. We might be
Yeah, you
beyond
did
the
say
ballot.
that.
We might be beyond the ballot box, but have we restored any faith in in this system?
Not yet. And I think, Melinda, here on each one of our channels, because Melinda's on point. She was like, "Hey, martial law is a total suspension of our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. This absolutely is no good for us." She also said, "Chaos is not of the Lord. Two truths and a lie is still a lie." That's what we have to call. That's what on her channel, Melinda, we call that the C19, because we can't really say it. Although on my channel, you do know I get a little bold with it and I say it. But for the most part, we had to try to figure out other words to say so that we would not have any trouble. And that's one of the ones that's a term she uses on this channel for the C19. I just got through thinking of a nice one, and that was for your channel, Steely Dan's Hey 19. I don't know, you may be a little young to. No, you're
But
not. You're a musician.
I know who Steely Dan is, because do you want to hear me sing what I believe you're talking about? It's
Yeah,
not
go
it's,
hit it. Hit it.
okay.
Hit it, Liz.
Oh my gosh. I can't even be sure I can get in between the right pitches. Are you reeling in the ye?
No, that's not it. That's actually the name of the song. You're just singing, Hey 19. No, we can't dance. We can't dance together. Now that ain't it either, because it's late. But it's a song called Hey 19. And so
Okay.
that's what we call it, Melinda. We have to figure out another word. So no, we already know two truths and a lie. We already know a lie is a lie. But yeah, I think that right now, that, I think because we have been really encouraging our followers and listeners and our co-laborers to just stay in a place of peace, that we're not weak by any estimation when we say we want to show love, we want to show peace, we want to be kind. What we're saying is we want to stay in that place, because we know that's when the Most High can use us, is when we are humble. But when we got to throw down, we'll throw down. But I think to Ted's point, Ted said that the hearings are going so well, but they need some of the court cases to go in his favor, or there should be bedlam. Okay. So right, there is no cure for it. Absolutely, Melinda. So I think right now that where we are is we just have to continue to keep our eyes on every single piece of this,
Yes.
because there's stuff coming out every day that's heavy stuff. I think that the chaotic piece is to keep us so confused and to keep so much confusion going, so that when they do start rolling this thing out, there's so many lies that they've already put out ahead of it, that people aren't going to realize why people are fainting, why people are falling out, why people are sick, why people are getting ill. They've already put out things like, once this happens and once people take the first shot or the first dose, you're going to feel a little less well. That's just letting you know that you're going to get sick. But we ain't dealing with it. So for that, yes, there is going to be some stuff popping off, because there's going to be a lot of people saying, no, you better get up off my porch. You better get off my phone. You better not be looking at my medical records, which they're talking about letting people just have all the hospital records to see who is one of the folks that are in the, one of those margins of who's going to need it first. There's a lot of stuff that
Oh
we have
my
to keep our
gosh.
eyes
Yeah,
open for.
oh my
A lot
gosh,
of stuff.
Felicia, you're absolutely right on the dime. I didn't even really think about that because, we think that I think we're alone now, but we still have this thing around.
Oh, go ahead, girl.
See,
Girl, go ahead.
now I'm going into the song. Like, okay, this is
It's okay.
you guys are
It's
getting
gonna
me
be all
in
right.
rare form, and it won't happen again.
I love it. I love it. Never say never, sister.
Yeah, because
But
AI, people think that even as we're on this show, everything is being recorded, or AI is trying to anticipate our needs, even our silly spell check. You can't even spell anything anymore, or spell something so ridiculous. It's like, stop helping me. Can you
I
just
had to
stop?
stop. I had to disable it. And to everybody else who's in the chat that may be in my age category, over 50 years old, over 55, just if you haven't already, stop using that. Don't use any more
That's
of it. Let it go.
oh
Start to spell the words yourself. Make yourself spell.
oh,
Do
you're
like I
saying
started to do. As far as spell check is concerned, because you was like, it'll just start saying all kinds of crazy cattywampus stuff, right? What I
yeah.
started doing was I started writing letters to friends. I started actually sitting down, writing a letter to my friends. I started mailing them. I started sitting down, making sure that I am doing the typing. And then on my cell phone on occasion, like if I'm sending you a message, sometimes I'll speak it and it'll have me looking like a loon. But for the most part, if you guys are over 50 or 55 like I am, make sure that you are writing. Write. Make yourself write. Make yourself use the correct grammar. Make yourself put your punctuations in the right place. Make sure you're doing that. Because I started looking at it, and it's like as soon as you stop using your own brain, things can happen and things can slow down on you. So don't do that. But to your point, as it relates to the algorithm and AI and all that other stuff, yeah, we don't know who's listening. Just like that movie we were watching the other week, the 1984, where we were like, look at that big old TV screen. That's literally a screen. Yeah, you never know. Big Brother's hanging around. Let's see. Melinda said our city council just voted not long ago with our governor's mandates. I will go out tomorrow and test the waters. Okay. Oh, that sounds good.
Wow, I'd love to hear about
Just
that.
voted not to go along with our governor's mandate. Oh my gosh, girl, I applaud you. Go, Melinda. Go, girl, just go. I'm happy to see that. And that's what we need. And that's what we really been talking about, is everybody becoming a committee of one and not bowing down to this garbage and just walking in boldness, The whole Project Veritas thing is good, but I just think that there's so many different distractions that are going on right now. It's sort of hard for me to celebrate in a big way,
Right.
because there's so much stuff that's weightier than those dogs. Listen, there are how many different factions when it comes to, you've got the dragon family, you've got the Nephilim, you've got, and I'm being real, this is real talk. This is real spiritual warfare talk, right? There are so many different factions that are in existence even right now today. You got all these different demonic entities that, believe it or not, are even at war with themselves. So it's not like, they're just all in allegiance for for just them against us. No. So there's confusion all over. All over. And right now it's like the only thing you can do is to call on the Father, Abba, I need you. And, the only thing you got to do is keep Michael on the ready. I told you, I don't play. Some people are like, well, why don't you carry this, or why don't you do that? I said, baby, if anybody ever messes with me, you want to see some angels materialize, bump up against your girl and you're going to get shot. But with that said, I just think that right now is the time for us to just keep our eyes completely open and
not
do
get
not
too
sleep.
yeah.
Don't get complacent.
Don't get
Don't get
yeah.
complacent. No, we can't. We can't. No, I do not want martial law. But I will fight for what I believe. So there's that.
Well, I can I'm on the coattails here. We have many we have imminent threats. And if we're too distracted, we will miss something because there's a lot of calm right now. Do you hear it? Do you hear it like out on these streets with us peasants? Which I refer to myself as a peasant. I won't call anybody else. Not the
I'm
chat
not
room.
a peasant. I'm not a peasant. I am a joint heir with Christ, girl.
Okay.
And I
Well, there
am
you go.
we are the children of the Most High. And you know what, I'm going to say this. Yes, it is calm, but generally there is always calm before storms, which is the reason why we have to be even more alert and be even more watchful. You know, there is a scripture that talks about, you know, we should pray. We should always keep our eyes open, basically, and I'll paraphrase it, but we should always be in a prayerful mindset. We should watch and pray. Watch and pray. So it's not do one or the other. We are to watch and pray. It's like if somebody gave us a check that had both of our names on it. It wouldn't say or, it would say, you know, Black Spring and Lockhart. So we should watch and pray, because you can't do one without the other. And that is that calm feeling that you're feeling right now. But in as much as it feels calm, you should feel a twinge of eerie.
Yes,
You should feel
that
you
too.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
smooth. It's not smooth there.
No,
You
it
know.
ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Because it's warfare. Because it's what you're feeling is what warfare is. What you're feeling is the same way the night before a battle, right?
Mhm.
If you're a weirdo like me and you like old war movies and you like old battles, like I even say, you know, even the Battle of Ziklag was an amazing battle where David went in and, you know, he asked God what they were supposed to do. He said, you know what, go on in and you're going to recover it all. You take everything with you, you're going to recover all. So when you think of a battle, you think the night before the battle, it appears very calm at night. It appears very still, but there's still that bit of eeriness in the air. That is what we're about to deal with. And so that's why we have to be cognizant every time we hear somebody say something that would lay the foundation for confusion, for mayhem. You know, let's go on ahead and just consider having martial law. That's not nice on any occasion. That has so many negatives that could come from it. It's not cool. So no, we don't want that. But what we do want is we want this thing to be rectified in a fair and just manner. We want it to be done speedily. We don't want to drag this into next month, because let's not forget, next month is the inauguration. And we need to know what's going on ASAP. And the only way that's going to happen, and it could go further, it could go beyond the 20th and the 21st. It could, of January, most certainly can, especially when you're considering all the legal battles and all the stuff that's going on. So we do have to look out for the fact that they're dropping breadcrumbs by major players. We do have to look at the fact that there are major distractions from the Project Veritas, from, you know, all of the other things that are going on right now. Fauci coming out saying, oh, I agree that schools should be open, when he most vehemently disagreed with that over the past 8 or 9 months.
Yes.
So there's a lot of flip-flopping. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of deceit. And we just sometimes have to turn it all off. We've got to turn it all off and tune into the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit to be our guide and give us the information that we need, and trust him. Because we can see we can't trust none of these folks.
No, negative.
Negative, Batman.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank the Lockhart Perspective for coming on and in the middle of a test and giving us her very best, which she always does. Thank you so much, the Lockhart Perspective. And the Lockhart Perspective, do you have any final words? I'm going to wrap us up right after this little commercial break, and then we'll be around.
I don't have any last words. I think I want you to get the last. I've already chomped enough at the bit. I've already talked enough. I I don't know. I just want you guys to keep your eyes open because there's going to be some more stuff that's about to drop. And when that stuff starts dropping, do not be shocked. It's just the powers that be rattling, saber rattling cages.
Okay, well, we'll just thank our sponsors and then we'll be right back with the final word on this test. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, entertainment, history, and much, much more, there's something for everyone. So please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Joseph Francis Burton, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back to the news right after this.
Can't hear you, Mama.
Is it possible for me to get any worse with the mute button? Okay. I'm back. We're back. And we're going to wrap this one up. I just want to give a shout out to Melinda Ann Burns. Ted, thank you so much for coming in. And this is a peculiar mouthful, but Mr. Satan Sandwich.
Huh?
What's a Satan sandwich?
Satan.
Okay.
That sounds like a troll.
Is that a troll?
Is that a person?
Beat it, troll. You're out.
That's not a troll, is it? Mr. Satan Sandwich.
I would never. Oh my gosh.
Goodbye.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry. That was a rare one too. He's gone. Yikes. Who comes in with that?
But maybe he didn't mean any harm and his mother named him that.
But it says what?
That was a straight up joke.
He says what temple? I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to move on with that one.
Yeah, that's just that. I'm backing away.
He's getting a little bit too a little dark in that area. Nick Smith, thank you so much for coming in. AZ Infidel, thank you so much for coming in and being a supporter. And let's see, Positively Penny, thank you so much for coming in. And the Information Man Show, thank you so much. Philip J. Turner, thank you. Old Head Deuce, is he still in the house?
I don't think anybody is. I haven't seen any more comments. I think everybody is gone.
Alien Believers. Okay, well, I guess final word will be just hang in there, and I'll see you guys back for more. See you guys on the next live stream. We'll deal with a little bit more from Davos and the World Economic Forum, and look forward to seeing you guys next time. Keep the faith, stay in the fight. I'll see you next live stream in the comment section, next Moonlight stream, or in a video. Have a great night, guys. Bye. And thank you to the Lockhart Perspective again.